Hello little buns, it is Steph. Welcome back to my home. I'm trying something a little bit different for this setup today. If you guys are familiar with my videos, I am not standing in front of a blank white wall, so that's exciting. That being said, I want to get more personal than I have in a long time with you guys. I've kind of forgotten how raw I used to be. I've talked about really serious things in my life since then, but I haven't told you about the dark parts of my life, I guess. So I'm going to kind of lay out for you my mental health situation so that you guys have a little bit better of an understanding of me and what I'm going through in this part of my life. I think with YouTubers there's a tendency, especially when we don't talk about dark things, for people to believe that we have great lives, that we're really, happy people. And I am happy. I'm happy with my life. I love my job. I love you guys. I love what we've built together. But mental illness exists, and it's something that I deal with every single day. I'm going to get a lot of people in the comments being like, of course you're mentally ill, you're trans. Transgenderness is a mental illness. But those people are incorrect. That is not what I'm here to talk about. If you didn't know, yeah, I'm trans. Hi. That's not anything that creates a problem for me in terms of my mental health. So that's not what this is about. I have been diagnosed with complex post-traumatic stress disorder. For those of you that do not know what that is, it's of course very similar to post-traumatic stress disorder. The difference is with complex post-traumatic stress disorder, it's not so much one huge major incident like, war. It's more of a lot of little bits of traumatic things and then maybe one big one, but it's a little bit more complex than this happened to you, let's talk about it. You know what I mean? And that's not to say it's worse, it's just a different kind of PTSD. So CPTSD is what I've been diagnosed with officially. I have kind of roundabout talked about what really gave me PTSD, but I've never sat down and told you specifically or explained what happened to me. I'm not going to recount my sexual assault on this video, but I was sexually assaulted when I was in college, and that leads to some of my issues, but not all of them. Not all of them. I'm actually least bothered by that, if you can believe that, because it's very situational. I'm not always in an intimate situation, so I'm not always having that put in my mind, you know what I mean? I like to take care of people. It's something that I was not really aware of until recently, but it's something that my mom is. I'm just like my mom. I'm basically a clone of my mother, and something that we both do is take care of people who then get used to us taking care of them, and then they take advantage of us. And that's happened to me fairly recently. They might be watching this video. I don't want them to feel like they're destroying my life, because that's not really the case. But somebody that I would have trusted with my life, and I probably still would trust with my life, manipulated me and used me when I was very vulnerable. And I don't know if they even knew exactly what they were doing, but that doesn't mean they didn't do it. And so that was the first punch, okay? So this is how I explain it. It's not like that one thing has destroyed me. It's, that was the thing that knocked me down, okay? And then I would get back up. But then also all this other stuff happened. So let's get into that. So like I said, my PTSD is complex PTSD, not just regular PTSD. So there's a few things that happened to me. And what's really happened in the last year is I find it very hard to trust people or to make new friends, because I've been hurt a lot by people that I thought were my friend in my entire life since I was a kid. The first thing that happened when I was a kid was I got acne and a little bit pudgy in 5th grade, and people wouldn't be my friend anymore. So this has been consistently happening to me since I was a kid, is something changes in my life where I do something differently. Nothing bad, it's just a different thing, and people drop me like I'm a hot potato. Which would be fun if it was a game, but this is my life. And I'm okay with that. You know what? If you don't want to be in my life, you don't have to be in my life. That's fine. But that's kind of the reason why I have a hard time making friends and connecting with people in person or in a long-term way, because I am constantly afraid of being let go or not being enough. Something that was brought to my attention recently was my real opinion of myself. In therapy, I go to therapy once a week for my PTSD, and we talk about what happened to me. We try to, work through it, and it's going very well. I'm learning a lot about myself, and that's what's shocking, is I actually discovered after like 4 weeks that I do not value myself. I don't value myself. I did not know how low my opinion of myself was. I figured, I take lots of selfies and I like the way I look sometimes, therefore I love myself. No, I had no idea. I had no idea what my real feelings were about myself. I discovered I feel things like I am worthless. I do not satisfy people in any way. I am too much emotionally for people to deal with. I discovered a lot about myself in terms of how I feel about myself, and again, I could not fathom believing that I had these feelings before, but they're underneath so much. You might have, I have good days all the time. But underneath of it is this drive to be worth something, because I don't believe that I am. But I do consciously I'm like, yeah, I'm the shit, okay? But subconsciously, I believe I have no value, and it's fucking me up. I guess the reason I'm sharing that with you is because I want you to understand that if you are having similar problems with your own mental health, it does not mean you can't be successful. It does not mean you can't be a happy person day to day. It does not mean you can't have good times and good days, right? It just means you have to deal with something that is hard to reach. And that's okay. And I really hope that you can get the help that I have been fortunate enough to get to work through these problems. It's very different in different places in the world, but here in Ontario, I was referred to a therapist for my anxiety to help figure out what's up. And then that therapist referred me to a psychologist. And because it all came from a family doctor, I did not have to pay for any of it. And that's in Ontario and Canada. If you're in Ontario and Canada, you might have a very similar situation. So see if your doctor can send you to a therapist or a psychologist for what you're feeling. Because that's what got me the help I needed, is I told my doctor I can barely function in social situations. Can I get a prescription for medical marijuana? And he taught me a breathing technique and referred me to a psychologist, which was really probably a better idea, because I would never have known I had PTSD if I didn't go to a psychologist. And now I can deal with the root of the problem instead of just medicating the surface. And I think it's okay to medicate the surface, I really do. I don't think that's a problem. But I'm happy that I'm going the route that I am, because I know that it's gonna help me deal with my situation. What I've been feeling the past couple of weeks has been, I feel like life has lost its color. It's hard to explain. I'm a very visual person. I see everything in my mind. That's kind of weird, it sounds ridiculous, but like if I'm feeling something, I like to visualize the feeling and what it means so that I can understand it better. And everything is gray. I don't get excited about things that I used to get really excited about, which is frustrating. I sleep a lot. I sleep yesterday until 6 p.m. Today until noon, which was pretty good. That's really good for me to get up at noon. But I actually got up at about 7 and I just laid there until noon. 5 hours. It's a problem. It's a serious problem. I have trouble with sleeping, with waking up, with finding motivation, with finding excitement. I have trouble with food. My relationship with food is fucked up. In high school, I actually had encounters with quite a few eating disorders. In 9th grade, I starved myself. I ate only a cup of yogurt and some crackers every week, and I lost 30 pounds. I was 30 pounds lighter than I am right now. So I was very, very thin. I was dangerously skinny. I had a problem. That passed. I tried to purge. Did not work, and I'm thankful for that. Please do not try to purge. I know it can be hard to control if you are bulimic. Thankfully, it didn't work for me, because that can really damage you. It can damage, of course, your health. Eating disorders are not cute. They're not glamorous. Being skinny is not the best thing in the world. And you don't even have to be skinny to have an eating disorder. You know what I mean? There's so much that people don't understand when it comes to eating disorders. And now I deal with binge eating. And that is basically where I don't eat for a long period of time and then I eat way too much in a short period of time. So like I'll make an entire box of pasta and eat like 3 or 4 pounds of pasta. And then I'll feel so bad after. Not only physically, I'll feel physically very ill because I'm in so much pain from eating so much, but I also feel guilt and shame. Like, why did I waste all that? You know, that's not gonna help, and that's not good for me. Eating all of that extra was a waste, but I just sit there and I eat and I eat and I eat, and it's like a coping mechanism. If I feel empty, I eat, and it's not healthy, and I'm not really getting help for that right now, but it also hasn't really impacted my health yet. So I'm hoping that by dealing with my other issues, like my PTSD, I can focus on that after by myself, because I've had good times with my eating where I've been healthy, you know, and I've had a good relationship with food where I'm eating it because I need to, because it's nutritious. I haven't had a vegetable in like 3 weeks. Actually, I had vegetables at my parents' house, but not here in Toronto, at my house. The point of this video wasn't pity me, you know, it was, I get a lot of messages from a lot of young people asking me for the answers in their life, asking me for advice on situations that I don't understand why they think I would know about. And I love you, and I'm really glad that you feel close enough to me to come to me with your problems and ask me for help. But the truth is, I'm not in a place where I can really help people like that. I mean, I can tell you about my experiences and hopefully that will help you in some way, but I'm not in a place where I can fix other people or I can help other people with their problems, because I have a lot of problems. And that doesn't mean I can't function. It just means exactly what I've told you. You know, I'm being real. And I don't want to never not be real. Look at that double negative. I don't want to be perceived as perfect. I'm not. Nobody is. None of the YouTubers on this website are perfect. If you see somebody that is not sharing their problems or their flaws, it does not mean they're perfect. It just means they would rather not share those things, and that's okay. I don't think people should have to. But I know I am mentally healthier when I share my problems on this platform. And I know that by sharing these, I can also maybe help somebody in a situation similar to me who doesn't understand what they're going through. And that's that. I hope this has been helpful. And I hope, I don't know, I feel a little bit better having shared this with you. So thank you for listening. And if you guys have any experiences you want to share in the comments, please go ahead. I always like my video comment sections to be places where we can share stories and share advice and help each other. So please, without hesitation, if you have anything you want to talk about or vent or whatever, just let me know in the comments. I will read as many as I can, and I hope you guys can help each other out too, with advice or with, you know, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. Yeah. I love you so much. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. Until next time, just remember, you do not have to be perfect. Nobody is perfect. And you can have a wonderful life while dealing with mental illness. The good days can happen, you know what I mean? So keep your chin up, and we'll all get through this together. I love you. Okay, bye!